It's been a challenging year for all of us. I think we're getting towards the end of 2020. My wish is to get over this 2020 and move on to 2021. Everything will be better. Exciting day today, our virtual meetup. We haven't had one for about 2 months. And today is the GA of the new Azure Stack HCI OS. It's a huge day for DataON, a huge day for Microsoft, huge day for our partner Intel, who's here to help us. And really because there's a lot of hard work I put into it to have a solution for our customer. Today we have Microsoft here, John and Jeff will join later. We have Jake Smith from Intel, who's been a awesome supporter of us for a long, long time, helping us with our platform technology, and we'll talk about it. So today, it's a festive event. I consider this a meeting. I got a lot of gifts to give away. So we'll be giving prizes for the next hour or so. So you got to be interactive. Like last time, every time you ask a question, you get a free Starbucks card. That's easy, right? Come on, guys, $5 Starbucks card. Every time you ask a question, cannot be an easy home run, okay? Got to be a tough question. Nothing that, Matt Roper's all, do you like Azure Stack HCI? None of those. Some hard questions, okay, please, okay? Second one is, we're actually going to be drawing a Surface Pro because we've been promoting it. So we're going to do a live drawing. You got to be here to get the drawing for a Surface Pro. We're doing that. We actually have a DataON mask that will be given away to everybody here. So make sure you guys go in the chat window, say I want one. Then Rachel will send you guys a DataON mask. Is that how it works? They need an email. Send the email in the chat. So put the email in the chat and say I want one. Then you got one. You don't have to chat. Just send me an email. That's all you have to do. Okay. Let me see how I'm still trying to finalize here. Look at this. Everybody wants it. Camera. All right. I think it's better now. I think the camera's working now. Okay, good. All right. So I'm going to get started today, and I'm going to set everything up. I have a couple of slides to kind of talk about DataON and Azure Stack HCI. Then I get to open up to Microsoft and Intel to talk about and open up questions. So let's start with that. Before that, Yos, you got to show your ugly sweater first before everybody else.
That's a bad neighborhood. A lot of crack out there.
All right. Let's start with anybody have any questions to start off with? I want to give away some Starbucks cards. Anybody have any questions?
When are we going to get the little Kepler 47, the little 2 nodes?
The little 2 nodes. You always have the toughest one, Tim. It's the S2D version of it is already go. I'm trying to make it for a RAID version as well. So my goal is to have stock maybe first quarter. I mean, I am delayed about a quarter, Tim, because of the stocking issues. So my goal is to have the Kepler 47 ready to have stock by first quarter. That's $5 easy. That's an easy one.
Howard,
right.
Is it just coming to Europe?
Yes, Kepler 47 will be coming to Europe as well. All right. Okay, do you guys see the slides?
Affirmative.
All right.
Yeah.
So there are new welcome for all those new people coming to our virtual meetup. This is DataON, Microsoft, and Intel. We do this once a month, and the last time we did it was about 2 months ago. And we're excited to be here. And the goal for this virtual meetup is really during this tough time to really have an opportunity for interactions among customers. And 90% of people here today are actually end users that's using Azure Stack HCI or are in the process evaluating using Azure Stack HCI. So they don't want to have the platform for you guys to engage. I'll spend 5-10 minutes right now only talk about kind of where we're at with this journey to hybrid cloud and why we're so excited about this new GA opportunities. For those that don't know, today there is an announcement from Microsoft about the new GA of Azure Stack HCI. What that means is the software is production ready to go. It has all the new feature capability, all functionality, and also they introduce a new version between a validated node and integrated system. And we'll go into that a little bit more in our discussion. For those that is new to DataON, we've been around for a long time, about 30 years. We are an exclusive Microsoft Intel partner, and our entire business focuses on developing values to Azure Stack HCI and to help customers deploy that solution. Microsoft has made this journey for a long time, and DataON has been on this journey for the last 10 years. And since 2012, 16, 19, now the new Azure Stack HCI, we're really moving on to a new phase of truly hybrid cloud and services to help our customer. In this process, I want to be kind of clarify where you're at is really you do have a path, right? You do have a path today because for the last 8 years, Windows Server includes a feature of storage spaces direct hyper-converged infrastructure, and that path will continue to Windows Server 2022, whatever they call it. And there's a lot of new exciting releases there. Storage spaces direct will still be in there, and other Windows services as well. However, the direction for Microsoft is going towards the new Azure Stack OS as a hybrid cloud services, right? The new features, new capability, virtualization, everything around how they're going to innovate to help you run your data center on premises while having that platform that's really hybrid cloud to Azure. And that's a roadmap of Azure Stack HCI today that we'll continue to focus on, and DataON will continue to innovate. This one slide really sums it up as though it's really a complete picture of a hybrid stack, right? You have an on-premises management called the Windows Admin Center that Microsoft is innovating for a long, long time, since the 2016 Project Honolulu. You have the Azure Arc, which is really a cloud management architecture that Microsoft introduced at Ignite last year, and now really a first version allows you to have multi-tenant management. But really in the middle, you have the ability to run your applications across the stack, whether that's Windows, Linux, OS, or other containers, allows you to run your workloads. As a virtual machine, you have the ability to virtualize your entire workload and run all your workload across the board. Plus, Microsoft announced that you now have Kubernetes services. You now can run AKS on the on-premise Azure Stack HCI. With that infrastructure in place, announcing now you have a choices, all the selection infrastructure to run your solution across the board. DataON as a company continue to innovate, delivering the on-premise solution for HCI, help customer do business continuity, whether it's backup, DR to the cloud on-premises. We continue to innovate in our software. We also announced DataON MUST software, which is a MUST Pro, which integrates new features to allow you to have a seamless experience of updating your firmware driver BIOS with the CAU option from Microsoft with integrated systems. Also, we're CSP, which allows you to have cloud services as a company. In a nutshell, really ability to have that capability of a complete HCI solution. They have Hyper-V, software-defined storage, software-defined networking, all integrated into one solution for you to choose from. DataON is launching 2 brand new solutions today. All our server nodes are now validated for Azure Stack HCI in addition to Windows Server 19. But in addition to that, we have introduced 2 complete solutions called Integrated System for Azure Stack HCI, called AZS 212 and AZS 216. And we'll talk a little bit more about it. You probably have seen this slide or read it as you follow Microsoft. The key is there's a 2-tier. Any question there? Okay.
Hey, Howard, I'm not sure if your slides are showing. We just see the cover slide. I don't know if you're in presentation mode.
Is it, how about now?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, right. So there's a 2-tier Azure Stack HCI programs. One is called a validated node, which is everything you purchase that validated goes through all the rigorous validation for Microsoft. And now this is called a Azure Stack HCI integrated systems. As an integrated system, there's 6 key components that's very, very unique to this solution. Number 1 is procurement. You could order multi-node selection, and all these are all pre-configured to help your workload. Simple to deploy. All the solution will be pre-installed with bits from the factory, which means that we will have that OEM rights to install the Azure Stack OS on premises as you have the system ready to go. Hassle-free maintenance. With the new Azure Stack HCI integrated system, DataON have updated our MUST solution to MUST Pro, which allows us to have a full stack integration to help customer deploy, set up, and upgrade your infrastructure in the background seamlessly. And I'll give you an example of that with the video as a WAC extension plugin. Today, DataON is only a handful of 3 OEMs today that has that capability working with Microsoft. Reliability, all these components are now continuous tested by Microsoft and DataON in their lab. We have these components that we have designated as integrated system working hand in hand with Microsoft to ensure that every single component are up to date in terms of their capability in BIOS and firmware. Secure Core will be coming into our Ice Lake platform and support. This is very huge because with the integrated system, the support between Microsoft and DataON are now joined together, meaning that we have the ability to do soft ticket exchange real time. If you have an issue, then we could exchange a ticket with Microsoft directly with a dedicated Microsoft support team for Azure Stack HCI. These are the commitments that DataON and Microsoft has given to ensure that you have a complete solution that really is hassle-free and help you maintain that process. With DataON MUST, we announced MUST Pro, which most of you have DataON as an extension. It helps you to give visibility into your solution. Now the management aspect of the solution now is being added, allows you to have that capability. DataON MUST Pro has 2 components with Microsoft. The first component is the deployment workflow for the Windows Admin Center for the snap-in. The deployment aspect allows you to deploy the entire Azure Stack HCI OS in WAC as a click-through process. You could do it as PowerShell as well, but Windows Admin Center allows you to do that whole thing. We'll go through the entire flow that allows you to check updates. You can set up the snap-in. You will authenticate the user as an integrated system. We will scan the entire inventory of your infrastructure, firmware, driver, BIOS, motherboard, across the board. We'll let you know which BIOS driver firmware needs to be updated to the latest golden image from DataON and validated by Microsoft. Then we'll update everything seamlessly in the background in the orchestration to make sure that whole process is very, very smooth. Let me play a video of that so you guys can see it. So I'll highlight the video for you guys, and it goes to the entire video that shows how the entire flow works. You can set up the entire cluster. You'll check for where all the updates. You have the ability now to do everything seamless in the background. And that workflow actually works for both the cluster aware setup, and also once you have the cluster updated, you have the ability now to update a cluster as well afterwards. So you have both capability across the board. So that's a very exciting announcement for DataON, for our ability to now do cluster aware update and do all the firmware checkup. And we'll talk about that later on. So I'm going to stop there and stop using slides and really open up to John. Hey, John, so what do you want to tell the audience about the new releases?
Well, basically, it's a very exciting time with Azure Stack HCI, brand new OS, all integrated with Azure. So you have that hybrid capability now. I did want to post. Let me get it here. We finally had our blog as part of the announcement go live, talking about Azure Stack HCI. But one of the nice things about it is Cosmos we're actually giving you, because we're going to be updating Azure Stack on a more rapid pace than what we do with Windows Server, basically once a year. We're able to give you a sneak peek at what's coming next. So not only is what's going on now, we just released it, we're going to start telling you some of the stuff that's coming in the future. And here's the link to the blog. Those new features, for example, Kernel soft reboot. Reboot your servers in seconds versus minutes to help with like cluster aware updating new drivers, updating, for security updates and so forth. And we've also got videos with those. So take a look at it. It can be ARC enabled. As a default for the next version, it'll be defaulted to ARC enabled. So you can run all the Azure ARC features. You can run, the monitoring. It's a subscription service, so it's, you'll see Azure Stack HCI is part of an object within Azure. So many things we can do with it.
That's awesome. Thanks.
And it gives us the ability to update on a more frequent basis.
Yeah, it is definitely the direction that I see a lot of customers is asking for, the feature capability, new feature like stretch cluster. Now a lot of customers are using with the new Azure Stack HCI, and we're really excited. Say, Jake, I know Intel's been working in the background with Microsoft in DataON for a long time. Why do you feel this is so exciting for Intel as well?
Well, we've been working together now. This is our third generation, Howard. As you know, we talked about how long we've been working together, 30 years. We actually physically used to work together at Intel. So the relationship is deep and impactful. We began this development work really when you look back at where Azure Stack HCI is. We began this work back in 2008 and 2009 with basic virtualization, and then we've continued to build on that. And Microsoft does an amazing job of taking advantage of the instruction sets that we build into each version and each generation of the Xeon Scalable platform. So from the first generation, codenamed Skylake, to today, in Cascade in the second and third generations, which we've already announced. We've worked very closely, and in fact, my team has a lab that is Jeff and John and Cosmos and the entire team tap into whenever they want to do performance testing. We have an entire engineering team devoted to working side by side with Microsoft, optimize across the Xeon Scalable platform, the Optane technologies, whether it's caching technologies, memory technologies, or Optane as an SSD. As well as our 3D NAND technologies. Also, as many of you may know, we have a very close working relationship around networking. whether it's 1 gig, 10 gig, or 100 gig and beyond. That's all I can say beyond. We work very closely with Microsoft to optimize our driver stack so that really when you have an instance in the Azure Stack HCI, you know that Intel has been optimizing our entire silicon portfolio in the data center on that software for as long as Microsoft has, I don't want to say forever, because forever is a very long time, but probably within months of Microsoft really productizing the decision to take a software stack forward. Intel is working closely with Microsoft to optimize it on our platform.
Awesome, thank you. For those who joined late, this is a really interactive session for virtual meetup. Whoever wants a DataON branded mask, just have to put it into a chat or your email, then we'll send you a mask. Let's do a lucky draw right now for $25 of Amazon card. How do we do it? Just like that? All right, first lucky draw so people here. Steve Ernst from APTN. Are you here, Steve? You gotta say yes or show your faces. Steve, I know you. Huh. Steve, you're not there. You didn't speak up. Sorry, you gotta speak up. I'm gonna try one more time here. We'll try another one. Is that Steve? No? Okay. Melina Tamayava. Melina, you here? The probability of getting is very high. It's only 3 people. Melina? Are these from today's list? The survey. Okay, from the survey. Okay. Wow. John Reich, are you here? See, all these surveys we're taking, we're not getting it. Okay, I get last one, then I gotta pick it off whoever's here. See here. Adam Morris, are you here, Adam?
Yo, I'm here.
All right, all right. You're gonna show your face, Adam. You get your $25 Amazon card.
All right, thank you.
So Adam, you got to ask a question to get another free Starbucks card. Wait, Adam, you're actually going to deploy Azure Stack HCI, correct?
Yes, we are. We just talked to you yesterday.
So tell us more about what you're going to do with it, the new Azure Stack HCI.
Yeah, so we're running 3 Hyper-V nodes right now with DataON storage on the back end already. We did that about 7 years ago, and we're looking to just kind of modernize, use the new Azure Stack OS. It sounds really cool. Fixes a lot of problems with updates and all that kind of stuff that we're having. So it's the most cost-effective solution out on the market, hands down. We looked at everything, Nutanix, I mean everything, and we're going to deploy the 3-node cluster, all direct attached together, no networking in between. It's going to be super simple, a lot faster. We're going to increase our storage by about 10 terabytes over what we currently have. And we're actually going to start deploying our test servers, because we bought 2 test servers to test this out. We're going to deploy that on Tuesday of next week. So we're going to start doing some banging on that. And then we'll probably do that for 2 or 3 months and see where the general availability goes, see if we can get some updates, and see how the subscription works for the actual cost of the operating system. And then maybe first quarter or second quarter, we'll deploy production. So we're pretty excited.
So John, this is a real Azure Stack HCI OS customer. They just got the system. We're setting up them as a consumption services as well as a CSP, and we can't be more excited about the opportunity to work with more customers as we go. Any other question from the audience that we can answer? Every question you pose is a $5 Starbucks card. Remember that.
Is
anybody else using or planning on using Azure Stack HCI in conjunction with external storage?
So you're saying Azure Stack HCI as a Hyper-V cluster and connected to an external storage. Is the storage running storage spaces direct or as a SAN?
A SAN. So we're leveraging Pure for our data, or planning to leverage Pure for our data drives, and then Pure PaaS inside Azure as the replication DR, and then using Azure Stack HCI as the hypervisor, replacing VMware, and the in-guest VMs would thus have connectivity to the Pure storage, just like if they failed over into Azure, they would have connectivity into the PaaS Pure software in our subscription through those VNets.
Good question.
Just curious if anybody else is thinking along the same lines.
John, any thoughts?
From a Microsoft standpoint, it's something that's been asked before. You can't do it right now, but it is something that Stephen is looking at because it has been a request. Whether it's something that comes to fruition or not, I couldn't say. That's going to be more his decision. But it is something that it is an ask, and it is something that we are looking at for a future version.
Good to know.
We're moving ahead with purchasing on this thing. What do you mean? It's like an ask, and I guess I'm a little confused. I'm sorry.
So let me ask that question, and this is very open, right? Traditionally, that's not something that DataON or Microsoft has gone down the path, right? The direction Microsoft is that you could use it as a disaggregated mode, which is a converge, which you could run storage spaces direct as a storage, HCI as a storage, then you can have another Hyper-V cluster, or you can hyper-converge it to run everything together. The ability to have a iSCSI mount or fiber channel mount to run with Pure have not something that we have seen from Microsoft personally. I don't know whether or not the new Azure Stack HCI has the plan to do that, but since the beginning of 2012 to now, there hasn't been a direction, at least here from Microsoft, to connect to an external storage like you talked about Pure. So I guess that's a very direct answer to you. That I haven't seen it from a DataON perspective, and maybe John said a lot of people asked about it, but I'm not sure it's in their roadmap at all.
Well, what Microsoft
right
told
now,
us,
from a storage spaces direct standpoint, it's something that we're looking at. From a Windows server, with failover clustering and Hyper-V, we're all about that. I'm all about that. We're not going to leave all of our SAN customers that we have. Everyone has got the SANs, iSCSI, EMC, and so forth. We're not abandoning. So it may come down to storage spaces direct or with no external storage, which would include HCI, or Windows Server failover clustering with the external storage.
Well, what Microsoft told us is that they were supporting.
Now, whether they converge at some point, that's what I'm not sure about.
What Microsoft told us was that they weren't going to support external storage being exposed to the hypervisor operating system so that you could make a CSV cluster out of it and then put bits on it. They want the operating system, they want the VM on the HCI disk, but the VM operating inside the HCI disk could have networking connectivity to external storage so that its guest disks, everything else would be on the external storage. Just like if you're in Azure, the Azure VM has to run on Azure disk, and then the data drives could be inside the PaaS storage solution, whether it be Pure or a couple of the other partners that have an offering up there. But for us, that means ASR, Azure Site Recovery Tool, is going to be replicating the VM on top of HCI into Azure Public, and then the Pure is going to be replicating the data drives from on-prem into Azure Public.
Sean, why don't I take the action? I'll connect you with Steve Akron, which is the person in charge of that particular feature, is John's peer, and I'll send an email out to ask that question, then you'll get a direct response from Microsoft for sure.
You can also reach out to me as well, Howard, and I'd be happy to answer that one.
Oh, please answer that, Michael. What do you think?
Yeah, so you can't mix an S2D cluster with MPIO, and I've been putting this in the chat window a little bit. MPIO is not supported with S2D. So if you wanted to take an HCI cluster and connect to a scale-out file server that's hosting what's called converged, that's operational. If you want to take that same HCI cluster and host to MPIO to a SAN array, that's not going to be allowed as of yet. And that's what John was alluding to, is they're exploring that. Steve Ekron's exploring that ability. What you could do is, and it's kind of what I think you're trying to do, is take the VM that's hosted on top of HCI and attach a virtual fiber card to it, to that SAN array. You could, well, but then you're going to lose live migration ability.
Correct.
Yeah, you're going to lose live migration abilities when you do that, though. Keep that in mind.
Because when it moves from one node to the other, it's going to be disconnected?
Yep.
And is that because of the virtual switch?
Well, yeah, there's some underlying things, but yeah, that's pretty much the short end of it. Is you're going to lose that because it's kind of acting like a discrete device assignment in a way. So
how come when the VM moves around inside Azure, it doesn't get disconnected?
In Azure, they're connecting to NetApp storage and things like that through SMB. So that's where the scale-out file server would operate.
What if I mount it through SMB then on-prem?
If you did it through SMB, that's a scale-out file server, and that would work totally.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's what John was trying to say, is if you would use that as a scale-out file server or an SMB 311 multi-channel connection, that'll be fine.
The Pure can do that, so I guess that's an option.
Yep.
Thank you.
Right, and like Howard said, send him an email. We can get Stephen Ekron involved, because he's the one that would be making any kind of decision like that.
Well, greetings and howdy and hello, everyone. I love all of the holiday festive. Howard, you are in rare form today. That is quite the jacket there. That is quite the outfit you got there. Jake looking dapper in his Christmas outfit. Oh my goodness, Howard even has the matching pants.
Oh, it lights up. Oh yeah, it's even better. But we've all seen it. We don't need to see it again.
Once was enough, huh, Jake? Oh my gosh. Well, sorry I'm late. It's been a crazy day with Azure Stack HCI launch day. It's super crazy bananas here. Been doing a bunch of stuff with partners, including Intel. Just got off another webinar with Intel, and we've got more things happening throughout the day. But absolutely had to come and visit my super awesome friends Howard here and everyone at DataON. Just wanted to say just a huge thank you to all of you. Whether you know it or not, you have definitely had a huge impact on the launch of this release. Your features, your feedback, your input, whether it was in Admin Center or Azure Stack HCI, through blogs, through tweets, through chats. Trust me, we've been watching it all. And I feel like, on the one hand, a part of me feels like this huge weight has been lifted from our shoulders today with the launch of Stack HCI. At the same time, on the other hand, I feel like, okay, now we launched this, we're hard at work on the next release already. In fact, I didn't realize Cosmos was going to do this, but he actually posted a sneak peek. A couple of the features we're already working on. I was a little shocked by that. He posted it in the blog today, but it really kind of shows off. The thinking here on Azure Stack HCI. So today we're beginning this new journey. We've taken, the input, the features, the thinking, the capabilities that you guys wanted to see in Stack HCI from previous HCI releases, put it in Stack HCI, like stretch clustering, like Azure integration, like portal integration, like Arc resource management, all of these different things. And then at the same time, we've already, we're working on the next release. We're going to have, again, we have these updates, these full stack updates with the hardware partners, so that we can deliver patch updates for firmware, for BIOS, and for the OS. And then, we're already working on new features. And, The one that I didn't realize Cosmos was going to post was KSR, which is Kernel Soft Reboot. So this is a feature. This is a perfect example of a feature we've had in Azure secretly for quite a while now. So we can reboot these big honking servers in Azure in a fraction of the time it takes to do it normally. So if you think about a server that's got hundreds of gigabytes, if not terabytes of RAM, if you've never worked on one of these machines, a lot of people don't realize it can take 20, 30 minutes to just turn the darn thing on. Okay, just to initialize all that RAM. I mean, you sit there with 16 terabytes of RAM. It's all right. Let's go get a cup of coffee, have a lunch, and when we come back, maybe it'll be started. And so one of the things we had to do to optimize that was, is there a way that we can patch the underlying OS and actually do a reboot, a soft reboot of the kernel, without having to do a complete, full, total cold start reboot, oh my God, and still be secure at the same time. And so this is a feature we've had in Azure for some time now, KSR, which allows us to reboot these monster systems in a fraction of the time. And so even on a system that's got hundreds of gigabytes of RAM, 256, 384, 512, stuff that I'm sure you guys all have, in your environments, even rebooting those can take a little bit of time. Well, all of a sudden now with KSR, you're talking, hey, sub 20 second, sub 15 second, a much faster reboot. And so when you couple the work that we've done with cluster-aware updates, the full stack updating work that we're doing, the capabilities to really service the entire platform, and then you add KSR to it, you're getting an even better solution. So that's an example of one of the new features that Cosmos kind of let out of the bag today. But I'm really excited about it. We've hardened this thing up in Azure, and one of the reasons we did that in Azure first, quite honestly, is because we only have a fixed set of hardware solutions. Everything is very homogeneous. So delivering this to the market in broader terms is quite a challenge, quite honestly. And trust me, there's been a lot of debate as to whether we're actually going to be able to ship this as something. But now that we have Azure Stack HCI, we've got validated solutions, validated systems, this integration that we do with all of our partners like Intel and DataON, we feel comfortable that it's something we can deliver in an upcoming release. So I'm just really excited about today. Just a huge thank you to all of you. Also, a huge shout out to my buddy John Marlin over here, because my goodness, everybody's excited about stretch clustering. Wow. I've been doing.
We see a newcomer. Is Alden Christensen actually online here?
Alden, you in the house?
Yes, I'm here, guys. Yes, sorry, I'm here.
Wow, welcome. Alden, you want to introduce yourself and share something that no one knows?
Let's see, Alden Christensen. Let's see, I'm a program manager. I work on Azure Stack HCI, Windows Server. Something people don't know about me. I drive a Jeep and I love to go off-roading. Maybe some of the people around here know that, but maybe not everybody else knows that. So I love to go up in the mountains and try to see if I can get stuck. And then the fun is trying to get myself out of that wedge. It's problem solving.
John says he wants extra time off. Can you approve his extra time off, please? Thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. We have a lot of customers here asking questions. We'll do another drawing here for $25 Amazon card because we can.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, because this is how it works. Let me see if I could get someone here, if you're lucky. Let's see. John from Colorado State. John, are you there?
So I'm here.
All right, show your faces. Who are you?
I'm a sysadmin for the College of Business at Colorado State in Fort Collins.
Are you even considering Azure Stack HCI? Are you a customer? Are you a potential customer that Jeff and Alden can sell to you?
Yeah, potential customer. We're working with the team right now, and Nutanix is nice, but Azure Stack HCI looks pretty good.
John, I love your background.
John, you got to give some tough question to the Microsoft team. What's holding you back on making that decision, making the Microsoft choice?
I'll tell you what I will miss from Nutanix is the async DR and the ability to just recover one of previous snapshots of VMs. Like that's come in handy as a really quick disaster recovery right within the cluster without having to go to Veeam or anything like that. So that's one thing I'll miss that I need to see in Hyper-V and HCI.
So maybe I missed something. Async DR is built in. That is in Azure Stack HCI.
Okay.
So we do have you covered there. We've got synchronous, asynchronous, as well as near sync. And so that's configurable. The encryption is built in, the async, the sync, that's all built in. That's all part and parcel part of Azure Stack HCI. On the snapshotting, yes, you're going to see lots more work there. You're going to see lots more work with Veeam as well as integration with Azure and more on the backup side. Oh, yes.
Okay, great.
So I sorry to put John on the spot because I've been waiting for his PO from his place for about a couple of weeks now. So now I haven't seen the PO. I need to make sure that we push him along. Okay, Jeff?
Yeah.
All right. We'll do another drawing here because we can. We are drawing, let me see here. Kevin Lund from Perry Mobile. Kevin?
Hey, how are you?
Show your faces. You get a $25 Amazon card. What's going on with your environment? Tell us about your environment.
Well, we're moving from VMware 3-node to just a simple switchless 2-node DataON setup, Azure Stack, HCI V2.
New HCI or Windows 19?
Right. No, HCI V2 right out of the hops. So yeah, we want to go. I like to be progressive and try new things and have them blow up in our faces and then work through the bugs. That's the fun part of being progressive in tech. So we're looking forward to it. It's we've got it up and running and been working with Howard's team there. It's going great. I think one of the only things, or I guess the question that I would ask is, and I think Jeff, you touched base on it, is just backup partners and how that's starting to look. It's interesting because we did see blurbs already. I love the Altero story and that kind of how it fits with Microsoft's stack and its simplistic nature. I've put that in prior environments, moving from both VMware and Xen to those platforms. So it's worked great. But two things I noticed. It almost seems like nobody's quite there yet, keeping up with HCI V2, but it does look like Altero's got the announcement and they have it fully on their website that they do support it. We've been tinkering with some Azure backup already, but it also doesn't appear to have a quite clickety-click simple link, but I think we're just missing something there because we want to kind of bake off those two. I'd prefer to go the Microsoft route, but a third-party product isn't a bad thing to have either. Yeah, I think that's just it. Is the challenge with the backup move because we're leaving both double V's behind, VMware and Veeam, to go to something different. And I noticed just in the conversion tools because Microsoft appreciated the other kind of conversion tools that I've been accustomed to seeing from the VM world to Hyper-V instead of this Azure Stack thing, which is new and great. I'm just curious to see what maybe those paths are, and maybe as we see more HCI out there, what everybody's going to do with that, or if the tool's going to become new, and or there's alternative methods. Which again, we've been talking with Howard and the crew there, DataON. They've been fantastic for looking at different options. But yeah, a few bumps, but I think we'll get there.
Yeah, and Kevin, you bring up a lot of really good points. And on the backup side, just so you know, backup is, to me, backup's an interesting one because we do, I've actually asked the backup team quite a bit about polling and stuff like that. And, you know, it's there are a lot of people that say, you know, we're a Veeam shop or we're an Altera shop. We love that. Please we just want to make sure that works. I'm like, okay, no, happy to do that. We have some people that are like, you know what, we're using Stack HCI, we're using Azure, we want a native Azure backup, we want a native Microsoft solution. And so it's kind of a little bit of both. And I feel like I'm always asking this question. And so we're trying to provide both. And to me, I want to make it as easy as possible. To me, this should be click, click, click in Admin Center, and it's right there. But at the same time, I know that there's some dyed-in-the-wool Veeam folks, and we love the Veeam guys too. And we have a great partnership with them in Azure. So we're going to enable all of these different things. Granted, we've got to make it easier in Admin Center, and you're going to see that happen. And the thing I love most about Admin Center is the quick cadence. We've been, you know, we promised at least twice a year. We actually this year we delivered 3 releases, 3 major releases, and we're going to continue with the promise of at least 2. If we give you more, that's gravy. But trust me, this is one of those top of the mind things as well. And then in terms of migration tools, you know, trust me, we've been doing quite a bit in migration. The storage migration tool is super popular in Admin Center to get to people to move their file servers into migration tools. We also see that migration tool, the workflow is really amenable to virtual machines, to Active Directory, and a bunch of other things that we are considering and looking at for migration. So trust me, we like the migration workflow that we set up with storage migration. The feedback from you guys has been, we really, really love it. And Ned's been doing a great job fine-tuning it and making sure, you know, we support all sorts of different scenarios. And now we're looking at it for other things like potentially AD for virtual machines and stuff like that. So it's just built right into Admin Center. So stay tuned on that. But yes, I hear you loud and clear, and yes, great questions.
Yeah, we'll get there.
I can't spill all the beans.
All right.
Apparently, that's only Cosmos can do that today.
Hey, Howard, I have a question. I've got a question for you. Something I'd like to hear about.
Sure.
I want to hear about your new integrated systems that you have for Azure Stack HCI. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Thank you for setting it up there, John. I really appreciate it. I just want to make this a product promotion here in the virtual meetup. It's supposed to be everybody getting together and just talking and giving away gifts. Yeah, we're excited about it, and I think as I alluded to earlier today in the conversation, with the new Azure Stack HCI, DataON is really excited to be partnering with Microsoft. We did introduce our new product line, solution line called Integrated System, and I think this is a really incredible breakthrough for a lot of you guys out there. With the integrated system, our ability to have a solution that is really hassle-free maintenance, right? Integrated system, there's 6 key capabilities. Number 1 is support. In terms of support, we are now tying the hip with Microsoft. If there's issue with integrated system, there's an ability for us to do warm case exchange with Microsoft to ensure that your solution is resolved. That's number 1. Now, number 2, with the integrated system, you now have the ability to do deployment and update seamlessly using cluster-aware update features. This is something that a lot of admins been talking about. When you take a node down, you have to do firmware driver update for your hard drive, SSD, or motherboard. It's a challenge. It's a downtime. But with integrated system, because the tight integration, the development we've done with Microsoft, we now have the ability to let you update these firmware drivers seamlessly in the background and really take that hassle away from you. This is a very huge add for DataON and Microsoft to make that happen. That's number 2. Number 3 really is just the ability for us to ensure that all the solutions up to date. We have a solution at Microsoft to ensure that we constantly test and validate these solutions to make sure it works properly and make sure everything is up to date. So this is a new solution from DataON and Microsoft, and we're very excited to be one of the only 3 partners really offering that solution today. So Jeff, how many people has asked about integrated systems?
Well, I think, you know, the question I've heard more has been, what's the difference between the integrated systems and the validated nodes and stuff like that? And the way I kind of answer it is, it really depends on the customer. And kind of this is one I think is one of the really cool things about, you know, kind of providing different offerings, because there are some people that say, you know what, just ship me a bunch of servers. I will plug these in, make sure they're validated. I'll hook them into my environment, and I want to do that. And then there's some people that say, no, I really do want the white glove treatment. Deploy this in a branch office. They, plug this in, make sure everything works. And so having both options is really awesome, because it really allows us to service more customers. And in some cases, like I said, they just want to rack them and stack the servers. They want to do it themselves. In some places, like they're not comfortable with it. Then they want DataON to come in the white glove service and do it. So I love the fact that both are readily available.
Awesome. Any question from the chat for free Starbucks card before I do another drawing?
Did you give away the Surface Go yet? I'm just curious.
We're gonna do it right now, literally as we speak. After this
really?
first question.
Okay.
Any more question before I give away the Surface Go?
Well, I had some questions on ATC.
Please.
Because we're used to doing everything with our own PowerShell scripts and stuff, setting up all the networking with the RDMA and everything. How is this going to change what we're currently doing? I mean, we have some pretty good standards that we've set up, and I really don't know exactly how the ATC really works. So curious to see how that's going to change our deployments. So currently we use WDS. We can deploy a 2 to 16 node cluster right off our WDS servers. Then we just run a couple of scripts, actually basically one script after we've set up our IP schemes within the scripts, boom. And within an hour, we've got a node set up, 2 nodes or 4 nodes. So how does ATC going to be different? That's my question.
Jeff,
So
did you
want to answer that?
Oh, I wasn't sure if you were going to jump on that or someone else. So in terms of what you've got set up today, so what's really cool is it sounds like you have, you've got this already configured in a way that works for your environment. And if you're doing this as a regular thing, it sounds like, you have a pretty good environment for deployment within your environment. One of the things that we want to make sure is with Stack HCI, for the customer who doesn't do it as regularly as you are, who doesn't have a programmatic approach, who hasn't done all of that automation, we want to make sure that there isn't, how long, let me ask you this, Tim, how long did it take for you to set up that automation and that deployment for you?
Oh, we've been doing this for a long time. We've probably got 1,000 hours into getting everything, but we started with, we had HP servers, Fujitsu servers, we've gone through, and then we got to working with DataON, and we actually combined some of our scripting together a few years ago. Took some of what they were doing and what we were doing. We had some pretty good discussions, combined it all together. We're an MSP, and so I'm a consultant. So we actually resell these and we help deploy them. So for us, it has cut down our hours and deployments. DataON does all our burn-in for us. So we used to have to do our burn-ins, make sure nothing failed, everything worked like it was supposed to, run all the testing. Howard's team does all that stuff for us. We get the servers now. They always ask, what do you want on them for an OS? And we said, well, you can put whatever you want, because we format them when they come in and rebuild them when they get here. Set them up for what our customers are. We do a lot of 2 nodes and some larger ones. But for us, it's so easy to script this stuff out using WDS. Within a couple hours, we've got a system ready to go. It doesn't take much. And that's just
awesome.
Physical install. So working with Howard's team has been great.
Tim,
sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
Go ahead, Alden, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, one of our guiding principles in the design of Azure Stack HCI was to ensure that it melded into your existing data center, into your existing processes, your existing tools. And that's why, your same PowerShell scripts, your same, whatever third-party tools you like to use are all going to work against Azure Stack HCI. We really, the goal was to have it seamlessly integrated to what you have today and not have to redefine it and have it be a unicorn.
And I did that with my test HCIs that I set up. I set up a couple different clusters. I ran the same scripts against our same servers with it, and it's, for the most part, it's identical. I mean, there was no changes. My big question was, what is ATC going to do for us? Or what will it do for us?
Can I take a stab at that, Jeff? Do you mind?
Go right ahead.
Yeah, so Tim, Network ATC is literally a PowerShell module that Dan and his group has worked to develop. So it's all through PowerShell. So your WDS deployment can just adopt these new Network ATC profiles for your adapters. So you're going to choose, do you want your adapter to be storage? Do you want it to be a compute? Do you want it to be management? Or do you want it to be a combination of those? Based on those combinations, it's going to pick the correct RSS, RDMA, DCBX settings, and everything else for you. You still do have the option to continue doing what you're doing and defining your priority flow controls just the same, but this method makes it that much simpler so that you just define your physical NICs as storage, and we adopt those priority flow controls.
Okay. Yeah, I watched the one little short video on it, so I was just curious.
Yeah, it's a really exciting thing that I've been testing out for a few months now, and it's pretty cool.
Cool. Where's my $5, Howard? That was my question.
It's coming. It's coming. It's coming right now. Okay, we gotta do a service protocol right now. Okay. All right, let's do this. Remember, these came from a survey that we did online, so we got to be fair about it. So everything's in this little box here. I want to show it, and I'm gonna draw it. If I do this like 8 times and no one says yes, that means these people did not attend. So I'm gonna have to pick among the 38 of you guys in this room, okay? Just so you know, right? David Taylor from Scripps. Are you here, David Taylor? Going once, twice, no. See, Jeff, this year you don't have to hold me up on my bike. You should feel lucky.
That's right. That's right.
You know, your back almost gave away. Remember that? Curtis Mavity from Avera.org. Oh my gosh. You guys are getting lucky. I feel like you guys are going to get this. Guava Nick. Nope. Okay, 3 more. Then I have to go on the list. John Neithercut from Patterson Companies. I know Patterson. No way. Okay, 3 more. Then we're going to go on from your current list. Malcolm Copes from Info Support. Nope. A few more. Manor Haraji. Nope, last one. Alex from OneNet.com, New Zealand. All right. So Jeff, who's the winner? We got to pick from someone from this list.
Blame Jeff. Great.
Keep going. Keep going.
So you think someone's gonna get there? Someone? Did you?
Sure, someone will.
Did you actually fill out a survey? Sarah Clark. Okay, no. All right, let me see here.
I don't remember a survey.
Jacob Kennedy.
Woohoo!
Oh, Jacob's here.
What?
I'm
Jacob?
here, but I don't have
Who's
my
Jacob?
camera on.
Oh, we had to
I'm
see
here,
your real. Are you a real person, Jacob?
I am a real person.
I know. I spent hours with you at night. I remember you're a real person. Jacob,
yes.
Congratulations. So now you're to tell us about what do you do in Microsoft? Do you guys have? Are you running Azure Stack HCI today?
We run 2019. We have two clusters. We have running what was HCI, what will hopefully be HCI Stack here in the future. We have a 4-node cluster that we actually run Oracle VMs on, and then we have a separate application cluster that we run all of our other VMs on, all on NAND flash SSD. So we've been super happy with it and really love it. And we get a lot of happy people when we migrate their from their old stuff onto our new DataON stack. So we've been super happy with it.
Actually, here's Affinity is one of the bigger deployment, Jeff, in Alden. They have a 6-node all-flash NVMe, a 4-node all-flash NVMe. I think is either 100 gig or 50 gig networked across the board, replacing SAN. They run all their database on it, entire business around it. So it's been an incredible journey they're going through, making a Microsoft choice. So I'm sure as they continue to expand their business, Stack HCI will be an option for them to evaluate.
Yeah, we keep seeing more people that deploying Stack HCI in these Flash and NVMe environments, and they come back with just blown away at the performance. They're like, wow, we never got this out of our traditional SAN, and this was a lot cheaper. In fact, I was kind of wondering, Howard and Tim, since you mentioned, Tim, you were deploying to lots of different customers. I'm wondering, are you guys still seeing people deploying on spinning disks for capacity, or are you starting to see that shrink too?
Most of the stuff we're getting from Howard now is all Flash. We've kind of settled on just all Flash.
Yeah.
So, and then
less and less. Yeah.
I'm seeing more people going to, like, I think it's the QLC stuff is really getting, for capacity for Flash. It's a great way to go. And then, use your NVMe or, something else for caching like Optane, for example. But the QLC actually seems to be working out really well for capacity. And I think that's a fantastic use for QLC, because now you can get some real capacity at a much better price point. And then all of the high intensity stuff just, hits your NVMe and Optane, and it's all goodness. So I'm hoping we will start to see spinning Rust go away. Just please make it go away.
Yeah, it's been for sure. I think one of the feature update from yours rebuild. Having hard drive in the rebuild has always been an issue with a lot of our customers, and I think one of the changes you guys are making with the Stack HCI has really reduced the rebuild time. Will help us a lot, but definitely with the hard drive rebuild has been a lot of challenge for us for sure.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do another drawing for Amazon 25 car.
Keep going. I don't want to stop free stuff.
$25 Amazon car. Scott Settle, DAA Civil. No. Dustin Oros. Are you here?
I'm here.
Wow, Dustin. Oh. All right, $25 Amazon. Are you showing your face, Dustin, or you're afraid to show your ugly sweater?
I can show it. I don't have an ugly sweater though. Sorry.
It's okay. So Dustin, what do you got in your environment?
Well, we have two S2D clusters, one 2016 for our production virtual machines, as well as another 2-node 2019 that I use for our Veeam backup infrastructure.
Nice. With the new feature coming out from Azure Stack HCI OS Stretch Cluster, do you foresee in the near future that these features or something to help you make your environment much more easier to maintain and manage?
That's what I'm hoping for. Looking to get as much information I can get on Azure Stack HCI and potentially go down that road.
Awesome. All right. Well, we're getting about 10 minutes left. We're going to continue this. Any questions? Anybody blurb out questions? $5, guys. It's such an easy way to do this. I can't believe people are not just jumping up questions.
I'm sorry, I'm blinded by the snow in your background there, Howard. All that bright snow.
Am I flashing light too?
I can't believe how sunny it is. It just, yeah, we're by 4 o'clock here up in Redmond. It's pitch black pretty much. So I'm jealous of your sunshine.
I've been singing jingle bells the whole time.
All right, another $25 car. Michael McGoffrey. Godfrey, you got it.
Do I qualify as a Microsoft employee?
Anybody qualifies. What are you talking about? Of course, this is DataON event. This is not a Microsoft event. But you got to ask a question, though. You got to ask a tough question where Alden and Jeff can I answer that people want to hear.
Oh, my goodness.
That people want to hear? I mean,
yeah, the tough question.
Well, AWS is going to host Mac OS. I want to know when we can host Mac OS.
So first of all, AWS, let's be super clear here. AWS is not hosting Mac OS. They're hosting Mac Minis.
Yep.
Mac OS. It's not that we can't. If we wanted to, we certainly could. It's just that Apple doesn't let anybody virtualize their OS. They've always been anti-virtualization. It's their DNA. If you want to do virtualization, Apple requires that you run it on Apple hardware, and Apple doesn't make servers.
Not anymore. Yep.
All right. Another one. $25 Amazon car. Matt Sabinsky. Matt, are you up there? Sorry, Matt. Good. I did see you. How are things? Everything good?
It is doing great these days.
We need a tough questions for the Microsoft team.
When can I go up to 16 petabytes of storage?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Wow. Only you are asked that, Matt. Only you.
That is 100% on the roadmap.
Really?
Yeah.
16 petabytes?
Totally.
Did you say that? Did you just say you will support 16 petabytes?
I said that's on the roadmap.
Are you gonna vouch for that?
Within the year.
Ooh. Eldon's dropping truth bombs today.
Whoa.
Azure Stack HCI is closer to what Azure is hosting than what Windows Server is.
Stack HCI rocks, baby. You want to get on the Stack HCI train.
So we marked down 12/10/2021 then, correct?
That's right. Mark it down. Alden says within a year they will try to support 16 petabytes per massive.
Not try.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to give him a way out.
No, do not give him a way out. He will take it.
That's okay. Keep going. You got us. You got us.
21
petabytes.
Good question, Matt. Thank you for pushing. You're actually the one pushing that petabyte envelope for the last 3 years, to be honest with you.
Yep.
Mr. Microsoft, do listen to you.
Any day now.
Keep in mind when it comes to these scale things, a lot of times these scale things are gated by what we can physically get our hands on. So just to be super, transparent for just a moment, up in Azure, we have some crazy systems, hundreds of virtual procs and terabytes of RAM, and storage is off. And it's because a lot of times, these are very big monster machines that, only Azure, most people don't care about other than Azure. And so, they're largely gated on what we can test. And that's certainly the case for, processors and storage. It's like, setting up for, 16 petabytes, a lot of disks involved in making that happen. But yes, we're very much, that's very much happening.
This isn't really a technical hurdle. This is just a test validation hurdle.
Got it.
We don't ship something if we can't actually test it and support it.
Got it. We got about 3 minutes left, guys. I'm gonna 2 more questions. $25 Starbucks.
Wait. Don't we usually test in production?
Oh, we're gonna give this away too. Okay. For the crazy. Oh, the crazy. Okay. I'm sorry.
Are you pointing at a car? Are you gonna give away that?
No. Yeah. So, my Tesla, you're saying? No, I'm not giving away that. No. I'll give away this. What do you call this?
Swag box.
A swag box. I think the winner is Yost already. Yost, can you show your picture? You have the best ugly sweater today, I have to say. If you guys do you see what Yost looks like, guys?
See it.
It's ugly sweater.
Close your eyes.
Close your eyes. Yeah, close your eyes.
Yeah, close your eyes.
He lives in a bad neighborhood.
You got to open Yost. You got to press him, then you'll see him. Yost, do we see an ugly sweater?
The Santa plumber.
The Santa with a G-string. Oh
no.
All right, I gotta have one more last question. $25 Starbucks card. Russ Stringer.
Hua?
Russ, are you there?
I am. Hua?
All right. You get $25, but you have to ask a tough question, though.
I did ask a tough question. I asked like 4 or 5 of them in the chat.
One more.
You're on chat for more.
Tough. Oh my gosh. Next release date for next version of Windows Server.
Good one. Azure Stack HCI, you mean?
You will see them both in 2021.
A little less vague than that, Jeff. Come on.
See them both in 2021.
I have sat in focus groups with you several times and same vague answers then as well.
Sorry.
Why need the principal PM?
You'll see them both in 2021.
Okay, guys, it's been incredible. An hour and a half fly away really fast. Very excited. Very exciting day today with the GA of Azure Stack HCI. Everybody, if you haven't tried it, please try it out. We're talking to customers. 2020 has been challenging for all of us. Hopefully everybody stay safe, stay healthy, please. Just get through this year, another 3 weeks, we'll get over it, and 2021 will only be better. So have an awesome holiday, enjoy with your family and your loved ones, and we will talk again 2021.
That sounds awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
have
guys.
a safe holiday.
Thank you.
Yes,
have a safe holiday.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Be safe. Be well. Take care, everybody.